You guys have not driven. I know you haven't. Have you not driven these cars yet?
No,
Today?
no.
Today.
Yes, and Amanda as well.
Hello.
Yes, Amanda.
Hi, I'm Bill Peffer.
Nice to
Maserati.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry, I was looking at all the cars.
No problem. Let's go out to the cars.
Yeah.
We'll go out to these out here. Kind of wander this way. The weather's cooperating for the moment.
Yes, it is.
An hour ago, I wouldn't say the same thing.
I know. But in Miami, you know, it goes and it comes and goes.
Well, I live in LA, and it's one thing we don't really have is humidity and too much rain. We have
Because
everything else.
it's October.
So, fires and
Wow. MC20.
yes, this will wipe us down.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
So, thank you for being here today. This, hi, I'm Bill.
I am Herman Botero with Automotive. Can I give you a mic?
Sure. All right, you gotta be careful what I say.
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Yeah. So this represents our new showroom of the Maserati Renaissance. And what we have here is we have our Icon product in the middle, we have our Halo product, and then we have our Volume product, right, in a space that is growing. The luxury UV space is followed mass and premium markets, and it's really where growth is occurring. So we're super excited to have the Grecale. Our Renaissance began with the Halo product, our MC20, now going on 2 years ago. And you'll see elements of MC20 in the Grecale, which came next, and then most recently the introduction of our Gran Turismo. All of these cars feature a version of the 9nov engine, which is a 3-liter 6-cylinder engine, which is turbocharged and has a very flexible powertrain curve from around 490 horsepower all the way up to 621 in the MC20. And we have a very limited edition Extrema version of the MC20 called MC Extrema, where it's over 750 horsepower. So compact in design, over 200 horsepower per liter. And the reason I talk about its compactness is high horsepower per liter is it lends itself to the flexibility of these layouts where you can have that powertrain rear engine, like in our MC20. You can have it what we call front midship. So the car, the engine is actually situated behind the front axle. And then in the a more traditional configuration in the Grecale, front engine all-wheel drive. But all of them have a version of this 9nov technology. That 9nov technology is the first engine in over 20 years that was designed by exclusively for the Maserati brand, prior to which, through different partnerships, we were purchasing engines from competitors, primarily one competitor. These cars are joined by our existing lineup of Quattroporte, Ghibli, and Levante, which we will have in the lineup through model year 24. In fact, we've just finished the production of the sedans, the Quattroporte and Ghibli, and we're getting ready to finish up production of the Levante. They will represent the last Maseratis with V8 engines. The other thing that is notable as we transition to this new showroom to produce UVs and supercars is the fact that these designs, these configurations, these platforms were designed as dual purpose so that they could accept gassed ICE technology as well as full electrification. Now it is true in the Grecale, the base engine in the Grecale is a 2-liter with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. It's optimized for performance. It's not optimized, we're all about performance, so it's not optimized for fuel efficiency or range or anything like that. It's designed as a power boost. We do not have plug-in hybrids. We've decided to go full electrification. And the uniqueness of our brand is that that full electrification for a period of time will allow for a adjustment based on demand in the marketplace. The first car to be fully electrified will be the Gran Turismo, the newest car in the lineup. It will have a 800-volt tri-motor powertrain. It also has a very unique T-bone configuration to the battery pack. That's important for a couple reasons. Number one, so this engineering went in up front, right? It's important because it allows the car to maintain its purpose of being a superior handling car, superior performance vehicle. Some of our competition has a battery pack that you sit on top of. By sitting around the battery, you can do a couple things. You can maintain not only the footprint, but the stance of the vehicle. The electric version of this car will sit a mere 3 millimeters higher than the gas version. You'd be indistinguishable. But it also allows for a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. As well as this car is balanced in the ICE configuration, it's about 52-48 because that engine sits behind the front axle. With the battery pack, you can move that weight around and achieve a perfect 50-50 weight configuration. The electrified series that we have is called Folgori. It means lightning in Italian, and we'll have that through the lineup. And the Folgori trim for these models will sit at the pinnacle of each of these models, meaning that they'll have the best, the highest technology, the best performance, and that's by design. Right behind the electrified version of the Gran Turismo will be the electrified version of the Grecale, and then finally we've committed to a electrified version of the MC20, but we have not announced a firm date yet. Talking about these cars individually, if we start with the Grecale is really designed on 3 core principles. More available and standard horsepower than the competitive set, more interior room, back seat, and rear cargo space than the competitive set, and more technology. Some of the technology that we're showcasing throughout the Grecale series, as well as the rest of the lineup, is a Sonus Faber system, entertainment system. As an example, it's a 14-speaker system that's standard on the Grecale. We also have dual screens in this car. The transmission selector is embedded between 2 large screens. There's things that are smart, like a wearable key to allow active lifestyle, to do things with the vehicle and not have to worry about holding the fob in the pocket. We have a Maserati Intelligent Assistant, which acts as a clock but also acts as a concierge when you have tasks you want the car to perform. Change the temperature, right? Different things like that. Rear seat legroom. This platform is in the D segment, but it actually is stretched a bit to be several inches longer than the competitors, which yields a better back seat, egress, ingress, and legroom, as well as a bigger cargo area. Footprint overall is within the range of the D segment. The configuration of the interior allows for those unique selling propositions. This car has 3 trim series right now. There's a GT version that starts around $67,000. There's a Modena version, which is our core trim. That's the mid-series. It starts in the 70s, mid-70s. And then this is the Trofeo version with the Nettuno engine, and it starts around $110,000, $111,000. Next up, we have the Gran Turismo. This is the icon product. This is the one that most people will associate the brand with. This is the 2nd generation of the configuration you see here, but we've had Gran Turismos in our lineup for over 75 years. In fact, we celebrated the 75th anniversary of Gran Turismo this year at Laguna Seca as part of Modern Car Week. And that formula is pretty simple, right? You need to have a sexy shape, you need to have room for 4 adults, you need to have a great sound system, and you need to have the performance that goes along, that lives up to the cachet of Maserati. We know that this car does that. I'll show you real quick here the underneath the hood. Fun fact here, this is a piece of aluminum that was stretched flat would measure over 8 feet. It's one of the largest hoods because it envelops the fenders, right?
Oh,
the muscular, and it really helps aid the shape of what we're trying to accomplish. But you can see here the front axle, right? Clearly in front of inches in front of the engine, and that's what gives it that midship. So this is a twin-charged 490 horsepower. I think this one is a Modena. Yeah, so 550 on the Trofeo. You'll be driving the Trofeos, or you would have driven the Trofeo. This is the starting version of the Nettuno. 20% more interior space and rear cargo space. So really a cavernous trunk. You want to be able to take 4 people on a weekend trip with this vehicle, travel in style, travel with the pinnacle of performance in a segment like this. And you'll have the flexibility of the different powertrains. You can see elements of all the cars that take from the MC20, the shape of the grille, the trident, the headlights, that are purposeful and design. You know, the muscular haunches over the fenders. That's by design. Of course, this vehicle doesn't need an introduction. We sell it one model year at a time. We sell it. We try to sell. We have been successful at selling the next model year before we go to Monterey, where we have a big presence every year as part of Monterey Car Week. The car comes in a coupe like we have here. It also comes in a cello, which is Sky in Italian. It comes in a convertible Spider version. Some of the unique things here, this is lots of Italian branded, best in performance features. We use Say-Belt for the seats. We use Dallara is who configures the tub for the vehicle. Extensive use of carbon fiber. Rear engine, butterfly doors. Lots of cool little Easter egg features, like the venting for the engine and the plexiglass in the back is in the shape of a trident. That's one of the cool features of this car. And we do everything in 3s, right, as a ode to the trident. So you have 3, like you have the portholes in the Quattroporte and even the Gran Turismo. We have 3 on each side here. Our wheels are all configured in sets of 3s. And like I said, we have an extreme version of this car. We debuted it globally at Pebble Beach. It's called the Extrema, and 62 units worldwide. About half of them will come to the U.S. They're pre-sold as well. What's cool about that car is the owners of those cars, the people who've committed, will actually have a hand in designing, finishing design of their vehicle. Which brings me to another point. All of our vehicles, we have another program called Forestieri. And Forestieri is our customization program. And we can offer tailored, bespoke options for consumers when it comes to paints and interior fabrics, colors of calipers, different configurations of some of the elements like the wheels on the car.
How long would it take from the ordering to the delivery of the vehicle?
Depends on which vehicle it is. It depends on if it has FS equipment on it. Obviously, the FS equipment will take longer. All of our cars are, so we build a global product for 7 different markets, and they're all built in Italy. So they come over usually 3 to 4 months from an order to delivery on a non-Forestieri car. What we try to do though is we have the dealers order their cars. They know best what's going to sell in their market, and then they obviously replace. We're still, the U.S. is still a stock and carry market. Other parts of the world are order. We do see more orders because consumers want something like an MC20 the way they want it. So we'll have more custom orders. But when we get into the rest of the lineup, I mean, customers still like to see a selection.
Now that you mentioned global, the best market still the U.S.
Well, yeah, I'm biased, but yes, it is. It traditionally has been the biggest market for Maserati. Europe's we're configured into 4 different regions. There's the Americas, which is North and South America, including Canada, obviously. There's Europe, Middle East, and then there's China, and then there's APEC, which is Asia Pacific, except China, but it includes Australia, Thailand, different markets for us. Those are the 4, but in the 4, we traditionally have been the biggest market.
Thank you, sir. Very nice.
Yeah, no
All
problem.
your products are all-wheel drive.
Yes. Now I had to think about that for a minute because, in the past you were able to get 2-wheel and all-wheel configurations, but yes, they're all all-wheel drive, all all-wheel drive.
And do you think that the 4 doors are going to come back soon, or maybe not?
Well, I'll answer that question this way because I can't speak about future, but But we just celebrated the 60th anniversary of our Quattroporte, right? Which is four-door. You know, it is the original four-door sports Grand Tour. We know the segments in the U.S. The preferences of consumers has shifted, and a lot of those customers buying sedans are moving to UVs. But there's a market. We're never going to be and people say, okay, well, we don't talk our sales volumes, but people say, well, who's your competition for the MC20? And the answer we give is, well, look, that segment of supercar is roughly 18 to 20,000 units a year, and we want our fair share of it. We're not out to dominate it. We're out to offer and disrupt that segment, right, and give consumers a choice. Leveraging the 110-year history we have, right? There are a lot of entries into this space, but not a lot of them can match the heritage and history and cachet that the Maserati brand has. But this is a very different, you know, from when I joined the company 3 years ago, none of these products were in the market. So to take a brand which is backed by a big company like Stellantis, so it has access to resources to flip an entire lineup over in really a short amount of time is something you don't see from a luxury player, a niche luxury player like Maserati. So we're so happy to have that opportunity to do it, and it's a story that we need to continue telling, right? We need to get people like you out here to take a look and drive the products and tell us what you think.
Are there any sharing of the components like there was at some time from Ferrari? No.
Well, we're no longer part of Ferrari, right? The Ferrari was separated. I think it was 2017 under IPO. In the past, we have purchased powertrains from them, especially when they're the ones that brought this company back to the U.S. in 2001 or 2002, well before my time. I don't know specific, maybe on some of the outgoing products, but none of these have
the
any.
engines.
Well, the engines used to be on the existing lineup, but this is all our own.
Your own engine.
Yeah, our own engine. Yeah, that we're not sharing with anybody right now.
What is the price around of this?
So this starts around 225. I mean, it will move depending on your equipment. I mean, we have carbon fiber packages, different seats, different brakes, ceramic brakes, different wheel configurations, bespoke paint. I mean, you can, and then the cellos again on top of that. But you can around. I mean, I've never seen one spec'd below 250. We had one in our lineup around 250, and it was fairly lightly optioned. We find consumers who make the choice to buy something like this, they want it the way they want it. So I've seen all kinds. I mean, for relatively low production, I've seen all kinds of cool things like that. They're one-offs. Almost every one of them is unique. I don't know. I don't think. As an example, we have 3 roof choices. So we have solid color or color of the car, we have carbon fiber, and we have gloss black. Right? You have a couple different choices of the very, very subtle spoiler here. You can go body color, you can go black, you can go carbon fiber. So when you start, you have 2 different exhaust finishes. You have this matte, semi-finished gloss finish, and you have a shiny one. When you start configuring these cars and looking at the overall number that we're producing, no 2 are the same, and that's by design as well. There isn't a standard configuration. We have 5 standard colors. I've seen every color in the spectrum on these cars, which is great.
If you want to paint it avocado green, it's fine.
Somebody
After
asked,
you buy it, or before.
Somebody asked, do we wrap the cars? We have seen some consumers wrap the cars. We don't have a wrap program,
No.
but that gives people, I think, some flexibility. If they get tired after a year or 2, they want to do something different. We do see people clear the car, put the protection on it. But I've seen it's amazing what people do. No problem. Let me give you this.